Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome into the number one Group of Five college football show in the history of the entire universe. This is the Group of Five, guys, and our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs, the voice that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to be. We need your help to do that. Hit the follow button on all the social platforms at Group of Five, guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Believe Network, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel, leave a 5-star rating, leave a review. Most importantly, tell your family and friends all about us. On this episode, had some Wednesday and Thursday bangers. Maybe you watched them, maybe you didn't. Still don't have ESPN on the YouTube TV streaming platform. We got to talk about a big one this Friday night and plenty more. Hope you enjoy the show. This is the Group of Five, guys, and we are coming to you live.
They get Old Dominion week 3, and ODU is by no means a layup. The Group of Five guys told me that, so that has to be true.
We looked at each other, we was like, Mike, the best place to be is a Group of Five. So I'm sitting here with the Group of Five guys, right?
Detroit has won, it's been a winner, and it's a special place, so it's why you want the job.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
It was across there. You want to have this thing packed out, have the student section packed out, giving those guys hell on the sideline. I mean, that's part of it for me.
Win or lose, like we're winning the tailgate.
There's no better place to be developed in this country than Boise State.
We got a lot to get to this morning, Jeff, but I did want to update the world. I know everybody appreciates my eye updates after my journey with the eye doctor, and I got to tell you, they're worse than they were before. I'm on a new prescription eye drop. I got to keep this stupid box in my refrigerator. It looks like, I got some kind of anabolics in the fridge. The way this thing is stored, but it's not working at all. So I think, what's it called when you're Munchausen? Munchausen, when like you'd have like these moms that would keep their kids sick, basically.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Do you not know what that is? Or are you being serious?
I'm being dead serious.
Munchausen disease. Somebody in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. This is when like a psychopath parent like gives their kid medicine that makes them stay sick, so that they always, it's like for crazy moms that would want their kid to always need them, basically. So their kids would be sick, but it's because of the medicine that the mom gives them. Well, anyway, I think I got like a proxy Munchausen with this eye doctor. And I think that what he's given me is making it worse, so that I got to keep going back and continue to pay my little $30 copay every time. And then, I don't even know. Sometimes you go to the doctor, same doctor, it's $30 copay. Then the next time you'll go and, $175 for your visit today, sir. And I'm trying to figure out why and for what. What'd you do? You shined a flashlight in my eye for 30 seconds and made me wait for 3.5 hours just for that, and then told me to go to Walgreens and get a prescription. Anyway,
Sprouse, I pride myself on being like, I feel like I'm a relatively smart human being. Can figure my way through things, common sense, pretty high. When it comes to the medical, dental, all those things, that whole insurance process, none of that has ever made sense to me. And I'll just get a bill, and I'm like, what is this? Like, why is this so much? I thought I'd pay for health insurance.
Jeff, and as you know, because you've done it 3 times, but I just did this. We've had 3 children. And every time, all 3 of them, 2 different hospitals, by the way. We go in there, a month or 2 before the due date. We sit down with the little finance person and say, all right, how much is this about to run? And we pay it right then and there. And we pay every time, every other visit to the OBG, we pay towards the end goal of what it's going to cost. And then what'll happen is we have the kid and we go home, and this is what happened actually with Cam, our first kid. We went home and we got a check in the mail. They said, "Oh, you guys overpaid." And we were like, "Look at that. Some integrity and honesty." Then like 3 months later, we get a bill for like way more than anything we ever thought it was going to be. And we were like, "Well, what's this?" And then you call and they have no answer for it. Oh,
No
call your
idea.
insurance. You call your insurance and they're like, "No, this is this. You got to call the hospital." Hospital's like, "Oh, well, you got to call the anesthesiologist. That's what that one's for. Oh, you got to call the OBG. You got to call the pediatrician." And it's like, I just want to know. I'm telling you, I don't want to cause a stir here. We'd be better off if we didn't pay for insurance and just put that money under the mattress and paid for something when we needed it. That's what we'd be better off doing, because it doesn't cover. You pay out. I can't tell you how much comes out of my check every freaking week that doesn't seem to cover anything that I get. And you see these doctors, dude. I'm watching this dentist on the computer. He's just clicking away, picking different medicines, like just clicking on them. Oh, insurance will cover that much. We'll go with this one. It's like, give me the one that's going to work, dude, not the one that you're going to get paid the most for.
Exactly.
But the world is awakened in the last, I don't know, 5 years or so to the medical, industry. But yeah, my eyes are not better. So I apologize, dude. I know if you like come to the show, you're like, why is this Sprouse guy blinking all the time and doing this all the time? That's why, dude. I got a problem. It's an actual problem. Vision is great. No blurs, no floaters. That's it. That's the other thing. They just latch on to one thing. They ask you, they pry and they pry and they pry until you give them the answer that they want. And then they're like, yep, you need this prescription. It's like, how's your vision? Great. How, you got any floaters, any blur? No. Any pain? No. Any pressure? I mean, a little bit of, well, yep. If you've got pressure, that's what it is. And they start banging away on the keyboard, dude, putting something in there.
What do you know about pressure?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Just because it's in plan, out of plan. You don't have a choice. I mean, we only got 2 hospitals here, and you know what I mean? But anyway, it's Friday morning, late night last night, watching ball. Deeper than hate. Got a little close at the end there, Jeff. So you had to stay up and watch the whole thing. Decker Gray Coffee coming into play once again. You guys know the deal. Visit deckergray.com. Use our promo code GOFG for 10% off and free shipping. Roast to order coffee. You purchase it. That's when they roast it. That's when they bag it. Ship it directly to your doorstep. Use that promo code GOFG for 10% off and free shipping. Also, Jeff, I need to ask you while we're here, were you the one that put the $60,000 bet on the Raiders last night?
No, and I'm glad I didn't, because per the form, let's just blow the game. Let's just give it away. Better draft pick. That's what I just keep telling myself. Better draft pick every time we lose.
Now, I was looking through all the NFL plays on the Level Sports Discord, and I didn't see it on there, so I had to confirm that was not you. But there was another night, another bunch of wins, another win for the Group of 5 plays, a couple of wins for the NHL plays, NBA.
Prez is on fire right now.
Yeah, he's rolling right now. So if you want to dabble in a little hockey betting, check out that Levels Sports Discord. Link is in our bio. Look at the Prez. He's playing all the NHL plays. We're playing our college football stuff, specifically Group of 5. And then Jay Vandy and Sean playing a little bit of everything, specifically NBA, NFL. That's where their, I would say, their expertise. So make sure you check that out. Anyway, so a little distracted talking about the eyes there. But my eyes don't lie when I'm watching ball. I can tell you that much. Let's start Wednesday night. We had some action. I have this problem. Jeff, I got a big problem.
You got a couple problems.
And so there's naturally every for the last 2 years, around this time of year, you see all the mid-tier SEC and mid-tier Big Ten fans tweeting about, Group of 5, why do they get an auto bid? Well, why does anybody get an auto bid? The Group of 5 doesn't get an auto bid. If 5 conferences get an auto bid, and there's gonna happen to be one, at least, that's in the group of 5. Technically, no, you could have 5 group of 5 champions. You could,
Yeah.
if they were all undefeated. I mean, you
And
could, and
ranked high enough.
and then you could be like, well, was the SEC getting an auto bid? But yet they want 6 auto bids for their own conference because they know damn well that they can never win the thing. So anyway, my problem is I got to thinking about this because a couple people were tweeting, like, and they lump 60 teams as if they're all the same. You say, oh, all the group of 5 teams. Okay, there's a huge difference, no offense, between the caliber of play right now in 2025 between watching Kent State and Ball State and then watching South Florida last night. So why they act like all 60 teams, you're putting 5 conferences, whatever, I don't know if it's 60. I think it's 60, right about 60. You put them in the same category, and it's the same way that they put, oh, well, they're SEC. It's like, there's a bigger difference between the top 1 or 2 in the SEC and the bottom of the SEC than there is between the top 1 or 2 in the SEC and the top 1 or 2 of the American. But we saw that. We saw your top couple teams in the American go beat an SEC, ACC, Big Ten. We saw them do it. They didn't go beat the best, of the best. But again, neither is the middle or bottom of those conferences. So that's where I'm at. But as I'm watching Kent State and Ball State, and it was a tough one. It was a tough one. A lot of 3 and outs, turnover on downs, missed field goals, short punts, short fields, just a lot of stuff. And that's the perception that the casuals have. This is how because they play on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so people get to see it a little bit, and they don't see the ESPNU 12 o'clock game between South Florida and Memphis because they're watching whatever game they told them to watch. So there's a big perception difference. But anyway, Kent State, Ball State, not a lot of anything. Ball State comes away with the win, though. Kent State had been playing better, but Ball State too is one that at any given week can play better.
And Ball State's 4-5, 3-2 in the MAC.
Yeah.
Kyle Kelly is this entire offense pretty much. 173 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, led the team in rushing as well. If they don't have this kid, if he doesn't come back from defense, back over offense, I'm not sure if they have very many wins this year. So shout out to Kelly for just being a playmaker, making, whether it's with his legs or with his arms, he got it done. I thought Drew DeShields, I like this kid for Kent State quarterback. I think he's a really good player, just needs some more pieces around him. But I love the way he plays the quarterback position. He runs around, physical. He can take a couple big shots. Unusual low scoring so far. I know it's just the start of action, but normally we see just a ton of points being scored. We hadn't seen that so far. Well, yeah, outside of Toledo.
That's what I was going to say. You saw that's a great transition, Jeff. Toledo scored a lot of points. NIU, I mean, they've been bad offensively all year long. They don't have anything going for them on offense. But this was the Toledo that we expected in the summer. Ton of offense, great defense. I mean, NIU barely 200 yards total offense, and then Toledo, Trayvon Rudolph with the special teams touchdown against his former team. So Toledo did everything right. And they're still very much in the mix. The MAC is, we know how it is and we know how it goes. The problem for Toledo is they've already had 2 games where they sort of slipped up. They can't have another one.
No, they can't. Tucker Gleason played very well. They didn't, going into this game, I was like, they're going to be up, right? Just they are the better team, position group by position group. I was like, I think Chip Trainham's going to have a big day. He did fine. But it was really more this past game with Vander Ross and Gleason where they scored the bulk of their points. And then, to hold any team to 3 points, I mean, that's just an incredible feat. That or a shutout. So,
yeah.
Can the Rockets be consistent and continue to play this way? And I know it was NIU. I know they struggle on offense, but still, to basically pitch a shutout, that's an impressive feat. Want to see this moving forward, Toledo. Continue, be consistent, because if they do it, they could find that they need some help. they can find themselves in that championship game. I still believe that they are the best team top to bottom, but they got to prove it.
Yeah, and that's one of those situations that we've been talking about all season where preseason you think a team's going to be really good. Then early in the year, they slip up, and then middle of the year, and then all of a sudden, end of the season, oh, guess who's right back in the championship game? And Toledo's got a chance to do that. Now, last night, by the way, it's not a secret, Jeff. I used your login on the ESPN app.
You're welcome.
Can I first say, I mean, how many times it buffered or just totally exited the app, or uh, froze on the screen for 30 seconds, and then when it comes back 3 plays later, completely different situation in the game. So again, you don't have that issue with YouTube. You just don't. And I mean, I'm not a YouTube guy. Somebody on Instagram was DMing and saying, "Hey, Sprouse, you should check out DirecTV Stream." And I said, "Yeah, dude, I had DirecTV Stream 2 years ago, and then they had a feud with ESPN and Disney. So I switched to YouTube TV, and now they're having a feud with ESPN and Disney." So, you know what I mean? I'm not going to keep switching every season when Disney decides they want to hike their rates up on the provider. And but anyway, and I certainly am not going to do it to switch over to an app that is it's just not good. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
It's bad. It's not a good app.
And I, the ESPN app itself, I get it. You do it so you can watch the ESPN Plus. You can watch those games. You can watch middle and things like that when they're not on. But boy, oh boy, was it a challenge to say the least. And then even to, if you got off of the multi-view and to try to just change it from game to game, I mean, it's a process, dude. I mean, I don't know. I don't like it, but I'm probably going to be forced to do it eventually if they don't. YouTube's standing strong though. They don't seem to be backing down. They published their response to Disney. So I mean, the Disney ESPN PR is taking a hit. I feel like in the past, everybody sort of has been like, just give me ESPN. That's all I care about. And now, because YouTube's involved and YouTube's got some PR behind them, then people were like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's not right,
Yeah.
And so we'll see how long it lasts. But anyway, a couple games last night. Start with Georgia Southern, App State, Statesboro, Sprouse versus Mountaineer Murph. And I mean, first half, Georgia Southern looked like they opened up the offense a little bit. JC French looked really confident, and App State couldn't get off the field on third downs. And Georgia Southern, they went right down the field immediately and scored. And then they got up big, and App State couldn't really catch up. But, App, they don't look very good to me. Just like I said, they couldn't get off the field on third down, missed tackles, penalties, the kind of the usual stuff for a team that's not very good. And then offensively, the first couple of weeks of the season, they were throwing it all over the place, at least. And that's kind of slowed down. And they looked a little bit stuck in the mud, if you will.
What I see when I watch them is I see these flashes of great plays and great throws by Swan. But then the next couple plays, I'm just scratching my head. They get a bad penalty that sets him back, or Swan will throw a bad ball, or a running back will miss a hole. I can't put my finger on it because Swan threw some great balls. And shout out to Jaden Barnes. Somebody, I don't know, I think on this show talked about him preseason. 13 catches, 160 yards, and a touchdown. He looked phenomenal. But then you just don't see it. And it's just a level, again, we've talked about this all year. The level of inconsistency by these teams and players and offenses and defenses. Like, it just leaves you scratching your head because Swan can make damn near any throw. He threw a comeback on the sideline from the far hash, and I was like, now that's a ball. And then misses a little 5-yard hitch route, skips it to him. And it's just crazy. And then Flip to Georgia Southern. J.C. French started the game. He just looks like dialed in, man. I'm like, this is the J.C. French I thought we were supposed to see all year. Marcus Sanders had a big day. O.J. Arnold had a big day. And then the second half is just like, where'd you go? O.J. had a good second half running the ball. But, yeah, man, I mean, this was great rivalry. Came down to it at the end. I thought App State was going to get the ball one more time, go down and kick a field goal. But they didn't. Georgia Southern gets a win. The Bevel family is happy. All is well, I guess. Yeah,
that was at the end there. I did too. I thought they were going to get. Well, I thought Georgia Southern was going to kick that field goal. I like it to go for it. Too many things can happen on a field goal, and it only would have put you up 5, I think, at that point, or 4. You go for it. They had it stopped, and then they bounce outside and get the first down and put the game away. But that was it, man. That was the whole game. The App State defense just couldn't get off the field on a 4th down or a 3rd down. And, I will say this, Jeff, for maybe the first time, I was a little disappointed in the second half. They panned over to the crowd in the second half. They panned over to the hill there, the student hill, and it was full early. It ain't no doubt it was full early. And maybe they get down, whatever it was, 19-0, and they went over to the ale house or wherever they went, but they panned over there where Georgia Southern was kicking a field goal in the third quarter, and there was not a lot of students there, and I was disappointed in that because, at the end of the game, they were in it, and they needed a defensive stop, and you could have had some noise, could have forced a false start, delay a game, something like that, but it is what it is. Georgia Southern, though, gets the win, and now, Georgia Southern going to end up with 6 or 7 wins. I know their fans want 10, 11, and I get that. But you beat your rival. That's something that all fans, some fans will tell you that's all they care about. Beat App State, and that's it. Everything else is fine. But so good win for Georgia Southern. Boy, UTSA. So, okay, let me start off. In the first quarter, UTSA was doing whatever they wanted on offense. Obviously, they throw a pick 6 on the first play of the game, but then they really answered the bell and go right back. They go right down the field, and then they get that sack, fumble, scoop, and score for 90 yards or whatever it was. So you get down 14-0. South Florida's offense hadn't even been on the field yet. And there's 2 minutes left in the first quarter, and so they had their shot, right? And then it's 14-0, and then they went right back down the field again. You got a field goal. So they were still in it. And you thought, okay, I mean, the offense is doing whatever they want. They just keep killing themselves, whether it be a sack. I mean, it's doing whatever they want. I get it. A sack is a sack. That's a missed assignment or whatever it might be. But once South Florida's offense got on the field, and I mean, they did whatever they wanted. Run the ball with the backs, with the quarterback. He's throwing it. Even with that weird looking release, he threw some damn good balls in the sideline, running around, finding guys, sitting in the end zone, sitting in soft spots of the defense. And they when they're on, boy, they are good.
They're talented at every position, offense, defense, and special teams. And honestly, it's just been the look of it and the consistency of it all year long for me. That's kind of turned me off on the Bulls. And I'm not saying turn me off I'm not saying they're not a good team. But when they look like they did last night, they look unbeatable.
Yeah.
Because they're stout at the point of attack. They move the line of scrimmage, whether it's offense or defense. Byron Brown just looks like he's playing flag football out there. He's just nonchalant, running, throwing, doing whatever he wants. Keyshawn Singleton with a big night, 4 catches, 122 yards, and 2 touchdowns. This is a really, really good football team when they're locked in. And if they end up winning the American, getting the rep, I'd be perfectly fine with that. Mm-hmm. I would. They could do damage. I think, man, there's so many 1-loss teams right now.
Mhm.
And
It'll work. It
I know
all
it
work
always
out.
does. It always does. I'm just like, I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to get there.
And the one question mark, and this is what I said before the game, was the back end of their defense is a little suspect at times. And in that first quarter, they were. I mean, they bailed out UTSA on a couple pass interference calls where the corners, like you always say, where they get lost. The ball's in the air and they just can't.
Freak out, man.
They panic. But I think they combat that because they put so much pressure on the quarterback and they bring blitzes and they're so fast. I mean, they got speed all over the field. But yeah, you're right. They've been talented for a few years. They started winning games with Alex Golish. And then it kind of became, okay, they're really good if Byron Brown is healthy. And so far this year, they go as he goes offensively. If he's not there, they're not even close to the same. They're still good. They're still, they still got players, but without Byron Brown, they're not gonna be that good. And you're right. They're the team that if they play their best and whoever they would play in the playoff played their best, South Florida has a shot. Like, no matter who it is, I think. I think even if you go back to when they played Miami, they didn't play very good. If they play their best, I think they go toe-to-toe in that game. That's why we've seen them last year and the year before go toe-to-toe with the Alabama teams, the Nick Saban Alabama team to boot. So, they've had this talent, and this is the year they've kind of put it all together. And I know that they're hoping for a rematch against Memphis. Now, the other part of this game, though, is UTSA. I mean, you look at them against the best teams in this conference, and they get torn apart by North Texas. They get torn apart by South Florida, but they get in that Alamo Dome, whether there's people there or not.
Yeah.
And they are just totally different. Was it last year? They won every game at home and lost every game on the road.
Road game, yeah.
So I mean, this is something that needs to be studied, and something that, so long as Jeff Traylor is there, you need to start looking at schedules. If you're looking at a Memphis or a Tulane or a South Florida or whoever as the contender in the American, you say, well, where do they play UTSA? Because if they play them in the Dome, they don't have a chance. I mean, unless, which we'll talk about here in a second, unless Tulane is just not as good as we or many think. And that may be the case. But they got Memphis tonight. At Memphis, Friday night, late kickoff.
Yeah.
8 p.m. kickoff local time, isn't it?
I believe so.
Last year, this game was in New Orleans on Thanksgiving Day, and we saw the Tulane that later we found out that the quarterback had already told his roommates and teammates that he was leaving, and it was clear they were just totally off. They had a ton. You remember they had drop passes, fumbles in the red zone, but they still kind of had those issues this year, even before the so-called distractions. And now, I mean, I can't turn the TV on or pick up my phone without seeing an article about John Summerall going somewhere. So last week against UTSA, I know we just talked about the Dome. I know we just talked about them being different there, but last week looked an awful lot to me like last year when they played Memphis on Thanksgiving Day, where something was up and there was something checked out or distracted. I hope that's not the case, because I think we could have a really good game tonight. But,
I think it should
that's
be
the way
awesome
it seems.
game. But then you got the Tulane faithful on social media putting out all these fake articles that Silverfield's going to Arkansas.
Well, but then a real one I thought came out.
Did it?
After, I think it's like the Tulane burners came out first.
I can't.
And then all of a sudden,
what's real and what's not.
Pete Thamel, when Pete Thamel does it, that's what, but
that's real.
But then you don't know. You're scrolling Twitter and you see somebody, they changed their Twitter picture and put a blue check, and you're like, oh my God, that's the real one. And then you look and they put, it's something off. And yeah, I mean, both of the coaches are going to be in the conversation. What's funny about both of them is, on one hand, the fans are mad about the distraction, but then on the other hand, and this is both fan bases, like, well, yeah, I wouldn't really be that mad if we did lose him. I don't think he's performing. I don't think he's, like, I get it, right? Like, for Silverfield at Memphis, every year you have the UAB game. Every year it seems like you have it. And then for Tulane, you look at really their last 4 games, and they haven't been pretty. I mean, they've won.
Yeah.
They haven't been pretty. But then at the same time, that's what he told you. He told us in May?
Yeah.
That this was a very young, immature team. And I mean, they've played like it. I think what happens for Tulane is you hear your coach's name go into all these different jobs, and you win a couple of games. You beat Duke, you beat Northwestern, and then you think, oh, we're really, really good. So now you have this expectation that you're going to be able to do that every single week. And they haven't looked that good. So we'll see what happens tonight.
Yeah, outside of the red zone struggles, that's to me where this team is, fallen short. Is drive looks good, you get into the red zone, you penalty, turnover, field goal. Like, you got to score points against Memphis if you want to have a chance. Sam Howard appears to be coming back for this game. He's been out with an injury, which he is a phenomenal defensive player, one of the best tacklers on Tulane's defense. So that will be a big boost. I'd like to think after an embarrassing loss that a John Sumrall coach team is going to come out and punch Memphis right in the mouth. But I don't know. I haven't really seen that this year. So I don't know if that's me inflating what I think is going to happen. Memphis has been more consistent all year long. They're at home. I feel like we have to roll with Memphis here. They looked like the more complete team. They get the win against South Florida, which we just talked about how good they were. I don't know if Tulane has the talent offensively at the skill positions to keep up with Memphis if they're able to score. Now, if Tulane's defense comes out and stifles the Tiger offense, yeah, you'll have a shot and you'll be in it. I'm just not sure that they can do it.
Yeah, that's the way I'm leaning. Now, if Memphis didn't already have the UAB game, I think I'd be saying, oh, here's going to be the game. They're coming off the big win. They were off. No, who'd they play last week?
Memphis?
Yeah.
Pretty sure they were off.
Were they off?
No, they played Rice. They throttled Rice.
Played Rice. That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, they shouldn't still be, feeling the South Florida win. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just maybe don't think Tulane's as good as we've thought. But it comes out like if they can get Retzlaff going in the run game, like he's had only, early in the season, it was a bunch of big running plays for him. Lately, it's been like one a week. He gets one.
Yeah.
If they can get him going a little more, they got a chance. But yeah, I just think in Memphis, I'm assuming the Liberty Bowl is going to be cracking tonight.
You'd hope so.
I think it'll be tough.
I don't know if the Grizzlies are playing at home, but Tulane lacks a couple pieces, in my opinion, in the skill positions for explosives. But they're still a great roster. Like, they're still a great team. They're very talented. I just don't think they've played up to it. Yeah. And when you're looking at the entirety of the season, like, I'm going to go with a team who has been far more consistent, who has been able to score, and who's played very well at home with two huge wins that were both at home. So,
yeah,
I'm going to roll the dice. I'm probably going to go Memphis.
Yeah,
but it wouldn't surprise me if Tulane just comes out and looks the part, because I know they have the roster.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, be interesting for sure. Can't wait to watch it. Navy at Notre Dame. Look, we told you Navy'd be undefeated. We'll run game off 1 week early. Yeah, I just don't think their defense is going to be able to stop Notre Dame. I think it'll be about like it did last year. They just don't have enough, and their defense is not good enough. I think it could get rough for the midshipmen.
I agree, especially if their offense can't move the ball as efficient as they've pretty much done all year long outside of last week. I think it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, Notre Dame, because they lost 2 early, um, they've been on elimination games every week pretty much.
They're trying to blow people out.
Yeah, they're on a mission. San Diego State at Hawaii. This is where it starts getting a little tough for San Diego State. They get this stretch now of teams in the Mountain West, and their defense is going to get challenged early and often by this Hawaii team. But I like San Diego State, man. I don't have a reason yet to not trust them.
I agree with you. They have answered the bell, especially defensively. You've seen their offense have explosive games. Then you've seen it not so much. The travel is always something you have to deal with when you're going to Hawaii. But this to me, trying to think of who all they've played this year, this will be the most explosive passing offense I believe they have seen all year. So it's a great test. Should be a fun one. I like San Diego State too. I'm going to choose to believe in them. But like some of our voicemail callers, not so much, not so high. I think that they haven't really played anybody, and I shouldn't say some. One voicemail caller, because I know we've had some other San Diego State fans be like, "No, we're a good team." But
well, you'll know a lot after Saturday. Is that's got to be the typical Hawaii game, right? Midnight, 11 p.m. kickoff.
Yep, 10 p.m. Yeah, 11 for you, 10 for me.
Is it on just that Hawaii network, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not seeing a channel on here.
Yeah, dude, they got that weird. Are they still dealing with that? Remember you had to get like pay-per-view or something to watch Hawaii a couple years back.
It could be Mountain West Network.
Yeah, maybe so. James Madison at Marshall. So this game is very interesting here because it's the play for 75 game for Marshall. They win those games.
A lot of emotion.
They win it. And most of the time they win that game. And a lot of people, maybe it's just Marshall people, have been calling for where's the James Madison letdown game? You don't really, even the Louisville game, even though they offensively didn't do stuff, like defensively, they still played tough. They still looked like a really good team in that game. And everybody, I think, walked away with that, thinking that the play calling and quarterback rotation is what cost them that game. You have the Georgia State game, but their defense has played every week. Their defense has come to play. What worries me for Marshall is last week, quarterback Del Rio Wilson caught the turnover bug a little bit last week. And I worry that he still got it, especially against a James Madison defense that we've talked about every single week. Puts pressure on the quarterback, puts pressure up the middle on the quarterback with Emmanuel Bush. James Madison is trying to stay alive, trying to keep pace. I'm sure they all watched South Florida last night. They're all going to watch Memphis Tulane tonight. And James Madison's going to say, all right, we got to keep up. We got to keep pace with these guys. They're on a mission, and they're just hoping for one little slip up in the American. And I think James Madison believes that they're a playoff team. And so that's what would lead me against a letdown game or, Marshall. They're going to be emotional. I get it. They have a great crowd. I get it. But you got to put the ball down and play still.
I think it's close early, maybe even through the first half, and then James Madison opens it up in the second half. They're good. They are a good, well-coached, talented roster of a football team. Offensively, defensively, Barnett has been great the last couple weeks. If I'm James Madison's defense, though, you got to get pressure on Del Rio because he's their leading rusher on offense. He obviously has done what he's done in the pass game. But if they can get pressure, they can do it with Bush, the rest of that front four. I think James Madison comes away. I want to say they cover the 13.5. The only thing that worries me, it is the 75 game. And you have a lot of emotion tied to that. They're going to be fired up. They're going to give the Dukes their best shot. No doubt about it. They will be ready to go. Coach Gibson has done a phenomenal job in year one, galvanizing this roster, getting this culture to play good physical football. This game is going to be Sun Belt football at its best, and I can't wait to watch it. I just think the Dukes are more talented, and like you mentioned, they got a shot to make the playoff. They got to have statement wins against your better teams in the conference, and this is one of them.
Mm-hmm. When do they get they get Washington State in a couple weeks, don't they?
Who?
James Madison. I remember they had that when we were talking about their non-conference. There was that weird late game. They got to go there.
No, Washington State comes to Harrisonburg.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, we get into this game probably, barring something wild. This game I don't think has a ton of playoff implications, but East Carolina in the American is very much in they're just as much in the American hunt as anybody else is. And they would need, they're probably in that next tier. You know what I mean? We've been putting out the tiers of who's going to get in the playoffs, and it's been, okay, 1-loss American champ, 2-loss American champ South Florida, 1-loss James Madison, and then you probably have 1-loss San Diego State after that. After that, so if James Madison slips up, San Diego State slips up, and East Carolina ends up winning the American, then they might be the next one up after that. And so they're still playing for something, and they're playing Charlotte at home, and Charlotte is not good. Now East Carolina, they have Memphis next week. So a little bit of maybe a trap game, for them, but Charlotte's just not very good. I don't see a way, even if East Carolina plays terribly. I mean, they'd have to, I don't want to curse anybody on here, Mr. Juan, but, the only way East Carolina loses this game is if they revert to the turnover deals that they had last year. But I don't think they will, not against Charlotte.
No, they roll against Charlotte. This has been, to me, probably the biggest surprise. I don't want to say surprise because that's not the right word. But like for a team coming in, Blake Harrell, like I didn't see it coming. I'll sit up here in a minute.
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do with Hauser, but he's played he is much improved from a year ago. That defense is stout. They roll Charlotte that game next week.
Yeah.
That is going to be a great game at home. I hope that stadium is packed. I hope it's rocking. We'll get to that next week, but got to handle business against Charlotte. 28.5 is a ton of points. I don't know about that. Check their team total. I'd probably like that. The over on their team total. Juan says, automated interception machine, engage.
And that's interesting too, because you're probably hoping, like, if you're North Texas or if you're James Madison, maybe I think if you're North Texas, you're probably rooting for. If you're North Texas, you're probably. What do you need to happen? Do you need Tulane? Like, how the tiebreaker depends. I guess it would depend. Like, if you get Memphis to beat Tulane tonight, and then East Carolina to beat Memphis, but then East Carolina is the 1-loss team with North Texas. So
I mean, truthfully, what you need Memphis to beat Tulane, and then ECU beats Memphis, and they'll have the head-to-head over Memphis.
Yeah, but North Texas, what do they need? You see what I'm saying? Because they're sitting there with 1 loss, but they don't play any of these teams, and
you'll need. I mean, they need somebody to beat South Florida.
Yeah,
that's what they need. Because then that would give the Bulls 2 losses, and then you would have then you still are in a tiebreak. No, not if South Florida has another loss.
No. But then you'd still have. But then you'd have North Texas, East Carolina.
North Texas wins out. ECU wins out.
Okay, yeah, then that's your championship game.
You got an ECU, North Texas, American championship, and South Florida, Memphis, and Tulane are not in it.
And I mean, I know everybody thinks that they're done, but don't forget about Navy. I mean, Navy's only got, for whatever you think they are, they only have one conference loss, and they'll still, no matter what
That's
happens
very
against
true.
Notre Dame, will still only have one conference
That's
loss
very true.
going into next week. I mean, theoretically, Memphis could lose twice, 3 times. Memphis still has, like, you remember when Memphis beat Arkansas and ESPN freaked out? Said, oh, Memphis, look at the odds. The odds went way up. But then you're sitting there looking at their schedule. You're like, South Florida, Tulane, East Carolina, Navy. Where do you think this is easy for them? If they get it, they've damn sure earned it. You know, North Texas, you could say, well, they didn't play. You know, they lost in South Florida. And that's where, I know we got to go, Jeff. I'm sorry. That's where, in today's world, where sustaining success is going to be very difficult for anybody. We talked about this with Coach Stock on Wednesday. When you have a good team like North Texas has this year, maybe it lasts, but maybe this is the year for them. But your schedule just lined up where you had to play a South Florida team that's also really good. And that's it. Like, this was your shot, but your schedule didn't line up properly. And that was it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So something we got to really think about. Anyway, Temple and Army, this line's interesting to me. I think they're weighing very heavily Temple getting smoked last week by East Carolina. I don't know where to go. Army at home is tempting, but I still think Temple's a really good team.
I do too. I think you're exactly right why this line's inflated to Army being almost a touchdown favorite. I kind of like Temple in this game. I'm going to be honest with you. Army coming off the big win against Air Force, maybe a little bit of a letdown. Temple's a well-coached team with Casey Keeler. It is on the road, but I wouldn't. I may take Temple in a money line situation.
Yeah. UAB and Rice. You see Rice getting a new stadium. I don't know if you saw that news.
No, I didn't.
But I'll take Rice. UAB, they had their interim bump. Now they'll be back to reality a little bit. Tulsa, FAU, I think.
Yeah, if that offense can get going, I think Tulsa can't keep up and score.
Yeah. Going to Conference USA, Missouri State at Liberty. Liberty playing so much better. One of very few teams in the country that seems like used some of that time off and improved on some things. I mean, they looked really good last week. They're at home. I don't know, 7.5's a lot, I feel like, but I think they'll get it done.
I do too. Their defense is their strong point, and if their offense plays like it did a week ago, and Vasco finally looked the part, the offense looked efficient and fluid, I think they cover that 7.5.
Yeah. La Tech and Delaware. It's at Delaware, but La Tech, they play good defense. They force turnovers. I think they'll get it done too. And you have the same 4: Liberty, La Tech, Jacksonville State, Kennesaw State. Still going to be at the top. And then Western Kentucky sitting there too.
Yeah. Conference
USA is wide open.
It is. It is
completely. They all are still wide open, dude. FIU at Middle. Jeff, how's the weather up there?
Saturday should be beautiful, actually.
Oh no. If you think for 1 second that Willie Simmons, Kenneth Gilstrap, Nick Coleman, Matt Hickman, anybody else that's on that FIU coaching staff is not out for vengeance in this game, you got another thing coming. Now, what do I always say about your South Florida teams that have to go somewhere cold? But if it's beautiful, you know.
Let me check. What does it say?
Middle's favored.
72 and sunny.
Oh, jeez. It's a little chilly for the Panthers, though. Middle's favored by 1.5, or at least they were. I don't see it, man. I don't know. I'm rooting for Middle, obviously, but also at the same time, Willie Simmons and Strap and those guys, I'm rooting for them to a degree. Last time FIU was supposed to win at Middle was that downpour, and we beat them by like 50 points. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I'll take the Panthers until proven otherwise. Jacksonville State at UTEP. Somebody injured? Ain't no way. UTEP favored in this game? Not a chance, Jeff.
I wouldn't think so. Now, Jack State's offense hasn't looked as explosive as it did, a couple weeks ago, but this line makes no sense to me outside of Jack State cannot throw the ball, or at least they don't even try. And the front seven for UTEP's defense is their strong point. Outside of that, but I don't see why Cam Cook doesn't have a big day.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Kennesaw at New Mexico State. A little worried about the travel over there, but I think Kennesaw they got too much skill on the offensive side of the ball, man. They're good.
They do. 9.5 points is a lot, though.
Yeah, Sam Houston at Oregon State. Sam Houston is a mess. Absolute mess. Going into the MAC, we got one game on Saturday. Bowling Green at Eastern Michigan. I don't know.
Coin flip action game.
Yeah, I'll take Eastern Michigan at home. Mountain West, they all got to be licking their chops now with Boise State seeming to be down, even though they only got one conference loss. Madsen's appears to be out for a little while. So you have San Diego State undefeated, but has that tough stretch here in November. Boise with one loss. But then, how about this, Jeff? San Jose State, Utah State, UNLV, Fresno State, New Mexico, and Hawaii, all sitting there with 2 losses.
Yeah.
I mean, and all play still San Diego State. A couple of them have already played Boise, but so this thing is wide open. Air Force is at San Jose State. San Jose State's going to throw it all over the place on Air Force. Their defensive backs have not been good. They allow receivers to get behind them. San Jose State, that's what they do. Could be a long night for the Falcons in San Jose. Nevada, Utah State. Look, Utah State's one of these ones that's just been under the radar all year long. And again, sitting there with the 2 losses. Nevada will play them tough, but I like Utah State here.
I do too. I think they cover the 8.5. I don't like that line. Maybe move it down a little bit, get under a touchdown. I really like it.
Yeah, and UNLV at Colorado State. Honestly, I think they win, and I think they cover at 4.5. They're too good offensively. They'll score a ton of points, regardless of what Colorado State does.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Sun Belt. So with the Arkansas State win over Troy last week, now you have this Southern Miss at Arkansas State game where an Arkansas State win, and they all but clinch the West with head-to-head over Troy, head-to-head over Southern Miss. There'd be a 3-way tie, but they'd have the head-to-head over both of them. If Southern Miss wins, then they get to play Troy in a couple weeks for that same sort of situation. I'll take Southern Miss. I think they just got too many weapons, man. They're actually good, I think, Jeff.
I think they're really good, but Ark State's got Jalen Rayner, man. If he just has a Jalen Rayner type game that I know he can have, that's why this line's 4.5.
Yeah.
It's going to be tight. I think it's down to the wire. Ark State's defense is not very good. That's what worries me about them.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can get into a shootout and get the ball last, be ready. But I think Southern Miss wins.
Isn't it difficult to look at Arkansas State as a different team than the team that was a Sun Belt?
I know
that we had to go down there
just
and play. Just a totally different style of play and everything. Georgia State at Coastal. Listen, Coastal's as hot as anybody in the Sun Belt in the Group of 5 right now. I mean, they're rolling. Georgia State ain't very good at all. In Conway, place will probably be rocking. They got some excitement now in Conway.
Yes, they do.
And they're on a mission too. They win a couple games and they'll get that James Madison game for the East in Conway, I believe. So they'll win that. I think they'll probably cover 7.5 too. Texas State at Louisiana. This is the one that preseason you would have thought was like winner wins the West kind of game, and they're both not very good at all. I think Texas State will win. I think they still got too much offense for Louisiana, for the Cajuns.
Searching for their first conference win, the Bobcats, which is crazy to say at this point in the year. I hope they get it. I think they need it. But the Fighting Terry Johnsons, it would not surprise me at home that Lunch Winfield shows up and has a big day.
Well, he threw it a little better the last weekend. So maybe they open up the offense a little bit, take some shots. Why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, at this point.
Why be conservative at this point in the season? Maybe you're trying to keep guys. Maybe you're trying to withhold tape and get them in the portal.
Could be.
We didn't talk about that, but we'll talk about it next week with the Caleb Hawkins article that popped up on everybody's ESPN. We got a couple voicemails going into the weekend. I'm certain we have some voicemails either from Statesboro or Boone from last night.
We got, yeah.
615-900-4286. Want to hear your calls after tonight's game. We may do a little something tonight, by the way, for a little live. We got Jeff and I'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But keep calling that hotline.
Group of five guys, it's Andrew here. Calling in the middle of the second quarter of this app game. And I don't know what to think anymore. I mean, there's no way we're going to win this. If we win this, it'll be a miracle. Hoping we lose because then I don't have to spend every weekend putting off homework. I'm in a master's program and I'm behind on homework. So if we lose, then it'll make me feel better about skipping out maybe on some games in the future, trying to get some work done on Saturdays and whatnot. But we are terrible. Terrible. Nobody is playing with heart. Georgia Southern is coming into our house and kicking our tails. I mean, whooping us like nobody's business. I don't. What happened to the App State team that I know? What happened to the App State team that went like 6-0 in bowl games or 7-1 or whatever? We had like 6 or 7 bowls and a win, and like, what happened to this team, man? The team that went 11-1 under Drinkwitz in his only year there, like, we were 8, 9, 10 win seasons consistently, and here we are on a packed house. Like, this is the issue. Is what other team also is going to be? What other 4-4 team, 1-3 in the conference, is going to bring over 30,000 people on a Thursday night game? I mean, we have a huge crowd here, and what do we have to show for it? We're down. We just went down 15-0, probably about to be 16-0 with the extra point. It's like nobody wants to play football. I don't know what it is. It's like, I think Dal Loggins, however you say his name, I think he's a good coach. But I've never been a fan of head coaches being the play callers. Give up the play calling. Give it to someone else. I mean, you can't see anything from the sideline. Let someone in the press box call the plays. I don't know. We can't rush the ball against the worst rushing defense in the Sun Belt. I don't know what's happening. AJ Swan, he looks terrible. Honestly, I think we should put Billy Wiles in. He's been there for like 4 or 5 years now. He's rode the bench. I'd rather have someone with heart, who's committed to the program, be our starting QB right now. Someone who wants to be out there, because nobody on this team wants to be out there. Maybe things will turn around in this second half. I don't know. We're terrible. I got to go do some papers and exams now. Hey, sorry for running long. I know y'all have a pretty strict 3-minute rule, so I don't want to make this part 2 any longer. I just want to say maybe I could go focus on some exams and papers now that I have overdue. I could turn this game off, or at least put it on mute and not have to pay attention to it. But anyways, maybe we'll turn things around in the second half. Thank y'all for all you do. Love the Group of Five still. Love college football. It's just annoying. Go Mountaineers. Go Group of Five, guys.
They almost did it. They almost came back.
They did almost come back. Yeah,
Year one.
They don't look very good.
Year one. I think
when sometimes you gotta not burn it down, but you gotta take a couple steps back before you rebuild. I mean, but it's different. I don't know.
Expectations are high in Boone.
Yep.
Let's keep it going.
Hey, sorry for running long. I know y'all have a pretty...
Oops. I'll have to get back to that one.
Mountaineer Matt and Statesboro Sprouse. This is Chris calling. Hell Southern. We flushed Crap State on Thursday night. Luckily, we held on to win it. But a W is a W when you win in Boone. Thanks.
I don't know who that was, but
yeah, well, The win is a win.
It is. That's all you need.
Especially in Boone. That's
a
a tough
big
place
time
to play.
win. Yeah. All right. Let's keep it going. This is when I was trying to play.
Hey, boys.
Jeez.
She's right from Twitter. Here's something I bet you didn't expect to see tonight from App State. We throw a fucking pick in the fucking red zone again. Game's on the line. Throw a fucking pick in the red zone. No wonder we can't win a football game.
That's it. Sorry, Stu.
Well, and he took a hit on that. He had a lot of pressure, but you gotta know the situation.
Can't take points off the board.
Yeah. But
Hated for you, Stu.
I thought right there. I thought, oh boy, so they're gonna score here. I thought App was gonna win at that point in the game, and then they threw the pick, and I put a damper on it.
Yeah. All right, last caller.
What is up, group of five guys? It is your friendly JMU fan, Grant Horan here. And can you believe these college football playoff rankings? And I don't mean this from the sense that JMU should be the one that's ranked. I just think it is absolutely insanity. Frankly, unsightly, the thought that somehow a 6-3 Tennessee team is put in there at 25 versus Memphis, USF, North Texas, or JMU for least of the fact. Who cares? Then you have to go in here and you see all these SEC pundits and all these people who are so big two power conferences. Oh, Big Ten. Oh my goodness, SEC, ACC, the G5 is taking away a spot from a deserving team. I'm sorry, you clearly do not know ball. Because anyone that sits there and believes that a 6-3 Tennessee team with their resume is more deserving of being in this top 25 versus a Memphis, North Texas, even Navy from any team there's so many that have a better resume than them at this current moment. It's ludicrous to me. And it's ludicrous that we have to keep fighting this battle, showing like, hey, the group of five should be in here, because there are very good teams in the top of these quote unquote group of five conferences. It is just, again, we all know this, and I've said this to you before. It is just so wild to me that people are so inept to grasp the concept that every other sport we play in the NCAA, every conference champion gets their team into the playoffs. I really just cannot fathom why it is so hard for people to understand. Let's adopt the same model, and by doing so, we get more parity, we get more better games being played, we get a great TV product, we get Cinderella stories that everyone seems to love come March, but I don't know why, for football's sake, it's the only thing. Well, we don't want Cinderellas, we don't like underdogs. Are you guys insane? Do you understand what the pulse of America is right now? Anyway, guys, I'm sure you'll talk a little bit more about it. It just really grinds my gears, boils me up, but appreciate everything you're doing. We just got to keep fighting the good fight. Go Dukes.
That's all we can do. I mean, hell, this country was founded upon the underdog mentality, but yet for some reason on the grandest stage, it's money, dude. That's what it is. It's money. Like, yeah. I saw Kirby Smart, all these people complaining about, well, that's why the NFL, that's why the vast majority of the players come from the SEC. It's just a different brand of football. Sure, but I've seen it the entire year. If you wanted to win your conference or you wanted to be the top 2 or 3 teams in your conference, then be that, and you'll make the playoff. I don't need to see 6 teams and see the SEC tournament again just on a different stage. I've already seen those games.
Correct. Yeah, they may very well, like, your 5th best team might be better than Memphis or whoever it might be. They might be, but we already know that they're not better than everybody in your conference, because like you just said, we've seen it. By the way, can I just say one other thing, Jeff? We have really built the bridge with the James Madison faithful, and now all of a sudden, the James Madison faithful are on our side, and we got the South Florida people and the Memphis people coming into the mentions. And it's like, look, dude, be careful, because you're doing the same thing that you're complaining about from the SEC people. But yeah, it's real easy to freaking rank. I could do a poll and rank everybody that MTSU has played in the top 10 and say, well, I mean, look at all the quality losses that they have.
right.
I mean, that's what we're talking about. And it was week 0, I believe, or maybe week 1, when Kirk Herbstreit got on game day, and that was his very first statement, was rewarding quality losses. You have to reward these teams just for playing these games, not for winning them. Meanwhile, none of them will schedule James Madison or Memphis or Tulane or South Florida or whatever. So, you know, it's whatever.
That's it.
We got to go. By the way, sorry, Jeff. I tweeted this, but this is the point I want to make. Everybody knows that every year the Yankees or the Dodgers will probably win the World Series. We know they spend the most money. We know they get the best ratings. But every couple of years, the Florida Marlins show up to town and they win the whole damn thing, Jeff. That's what we want. That's all we want. We want the chance for a young kid to get red hot and go on a run. Anyway, if you like the show, follow on all the socials at Group of Five Guys, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcast. Subscribe, like, share, tell your family and friends. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. We're out of here.